What if the tools meant to connect us are actually isolating us? Do you ever feel that phantom buzz of a notification? That gnawing anxiety of an unread message? That creeping suspicion that the person you project online isn't really you? We're drowning in information, yet many of us feel adrift, disconnected. We chase validation in the glow of screens, mistaking digital echoes for real connection. It leaves us hollow, constantly comparing our messy reality to everyone else's polished highlight reel. It's a paradox. The more we broadcast ourselves, the less we feel truly seen. What if I told you this endless pursuit of external approval isn't just a distraction, it's a subtle form of self-erasure? That algorithms aren't neutral, they're actively shaping your reality, often stealing your agency. This isn't about blaming technology. It's about understanding its profound impact on your psyche, your ability to connect, and who you're becoming. Get ready for a radical shift. We're about to unearth the invisible forces reshaping you. We're diving into what philosopher Byung-Chul Han calls the transparency society. He argues we've moved beyond an era of prohibitions to a society obsessed with achievement and positivity. The new rule? Perform. Optimize. Be transparent. But this isn't about open communication, it's a forced exposure. Your self is no longer defined by what you resist, but by what you reveal, by your constant output, your performance of self. The digital age amplifies this. Algorithms track your every move, creating personalized realities that become echo chambers, feeding you more of what you already believe. This overload, combined with the pressure to present an optimized version of yourself, leads to a profound, subtle self-alienation. The core issue? Your private self is being eroded by a public, performative self. Han says in older societies, the other was a prohibition, creating a boundary for your inner world. Now, the other is an audience, a market, a source of validation. Your self is increasingly defined by its visibility, its ability to be consumed. The private realm, the space for introspection, for unobserved thought, for imperfection, it's shrinking. You're told to be yourself, but that often means be the version of yourself that's marketable, palatable, and constantly producing. This pressure to be transparent, to share everything, paradoxically strips away genuine intimacy and connection. We become like glass houses, visible from all angles, but with nothing truly substantial inside to hold a gaze. Think of your digital life as a vast, ever-expanding aquarium. You're the fish swimming in a meticulously curated environment, performing for an unseen audience. Every flick, every bubble is observed, analyzed, rewarded with likes. The glass walls are your screens, distorting reality and limiting true interaction. Inside, you're pushed to display vibrant colors, graceful movements, a perfect specimen of fishness. You learn to anticipate the gaze, adjusting your behavior for positive reinforcement. But the true depths of the ocean, the messy, unpredictable, nourishing environment, remain inaccessible. You become so accustomed to the aquarium's controlled world that venturing beyond its glass feels terrifying. You mistake constant visibility for connection, performance for presence. The underlying psychological shift, your locus of control and self-worth are moving outwards. In the past, self-discipline and external rules were key. Now, it's self-optimization and the pursuit of positive outcomes, all measured by external validation. This creates a powerful feedback loop. Your sense of value is tied to your online performance. You're engaged in impression management, meticulously crafting your digital self to project success, happiness, desirability. This constant effort is exhausting and unsustainable. It forces you to suppress aspects of your authentic self that don't fit the narrative. The fear of negative judgment, of not measuring up, becomes a powerful driver. It pushes you to overshare, to engage in performative vulnerability, or to present an idealized life. This external validation, while momentarily gratifying, never truly addresses your deeper need for authentic self-acceptance.
Take Anya, a graphic designer in her late 20s, desperate for recognition. Her online presence is flawless, vibrant work, witty captions, trendy cafe photos, glimpses of her productive life. Internally, crippling self-doubt. She spends hours editing photos, agonizing over captions, comparing follower counts. Her work, while skilled, lacks raw emotion, a casualty of her fear of revealing anything imperfect. When a client shows interest, her first move is to check their social media to gauge their status and adjust her approach. She feels constant pressure to be on, the effortlessly successful individual her persona projects. Have you ever felt this weight of expectation with every post? The long-term cost for Anya is a growing sense of inauthenticity. She feels like an imposter. Her genuine creative impulse is stifled by the demand for polished perfection. She's increasingly disconnected from her true artistic voice and from meaningful human connection. Then there's Ben, a freelance writer. After a breakup, he found solace and distraction online. It started as a way to connect, but quickly became a cycle of validation seeking. Ben would post about his struggles, his anxieties, his creative blocks, meticulously detailing his emotional state, hoping for comforting comments and likes. He became a master of crafting vulnerability narratives that garnered engagement. But this constant externalization prevented him from truly processing his emotions. He wasn't working through his pain, he was performing it. When a friend offered genuine support, suggesting a private conversation, Ben deflected, preferring the superficial affirmation of the online crowd. Do you find yourself broadcasting your struggles, seeking external validation rather than internal resolution? The devastating long-term consequence for Ben is a profound inability to build emotional resilience. He's dependent on the fleeting comfort of digital affirmation, mistaking attention for support, hindering his capacity for deep, authentic self-healing and meaningful, private relationships. And Chloe, a young entrepreneur whose startup is booming. She's a master of the personal brand, projecting unwavering confidence and relentless positivity. Every setback is a learning opportunity, every challenge a stepping stone. Her social media is a curated highlight reel of achievements and inspirational quotes. Behind the scenes, drowning in anxiety and self-criticism. She rarely admits to feeling overwhelmed or uncertain, fearing any hint of vulnerability would undermine her leadership image. She avoids candid conversations with her team about their struggles, believing it signals weakness. When a critical article appears, her immediate response is a public statement of defiance, not introspection. Have you ever felt compelled to present an unblemished facade, even when you're crumbling inside? The long-term consequence for Chloe is a growing chasm between her public persona and private reality. This leads to burnout, strained team relationships because they sense her inauthenticity, and a deep-seated fear of true exposure that sabotages her ability to lead with genuine empathy and courage. The collective cost of this pervasive transparency, this relentless performance of self, is immense. We are sacrificing our capacity for genuine introspection, for the quiet cultivation of our inner lives, for the messy, imperfect, but vital work of becoming fully human. We're trading authentic connection for digital validation, deep self-knowledge for superficial visibility. The cost is paid in lost creativity, diminished emotional resilience, fractured relationships, and a pervasive sense of alienation from ourselves and each other. We're becoming spectacles in our own lives, performing for an audience that may not even be watching, or worse, is watching with a critical gaze. The pursuit of external affirmation is a treadmill, offering the illusion of progress, but leading only to exhaustion and a deeper emptiness. The path to liberation from this cycle isn't easy, but it's profoundly rewarding. It requires a conscious, deliberate turning inward, a reclaiming of the private self from the relentless demands of public performance. True freedom here isn't the absence of external pressures, but the internal capacity to resist them, to define yourself not by what is seen, but by what is known and felt within. True strength lies in the courage to be imperfect, to be vulnerable in private, and to cultivate self-worth independent of external validation. This is a journey back to yourselves, a rediscovery of the quiet, unobserved spaces where authentic growth truly occurs.
So, what can you do? First, practice digital deliberation. Before you post, share, or engage online, pause. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What's my intention? Am I seeking genuine connection or external validation? This practice interrupts the impulsive, habitual nature of online engagement. It forces a moment of self-awareness, helping you identify if your actions stem from a desire to connect or a need for affirmation. This conscious pause helps decouple your actions from algorithmic triggers and social pressures. Your challenge this week? Set a personal rule to wait at least 5 minutes before posting anything that expresses strong emotion or seeks a reaction. During this pause, reflect on your motivations. If the urge to post is driven by anxiety or a need for likes, consider a private activity like journaling. Second, reclaim the unobserved self. Intentionally create and protect private time and space, free from digital or social surveillance. This is time dedicated to activities purely for your internal experience, not for sharing or performance. Our sense of self is often shaped by how we believe we're perceived. By creating unobserved spaces, you allow yourself to exist without the pressure of performance, to experiment, to make mistakes, and to simply be without judgment. This is crucial for developing authentic self-awareness and reclaiming your internal locus of control, fostering self-acceptance independent of external metrics. Your challenge? Schedule at least 30 minutes of unobserved time each day. Read a book without highlighting, go for a walk without photos, engage in a hobby purely for enjoyment. The key is that these activities are for your internal experience only. Third, practice private vulnerability. Share your true feelings, doubts, and struggles with a trusted individual in a private, non-performative setting, rather than broadcasting them online. True intimacy and emotional resilience are built through authentic, reciprocal sharing in safe, private spaces. When you share vulnerabilities privately, you allow yourself to be truly seen and supported, fostering deeper connections and a more robust sense of self-worth. This contrasts sharply with performative vulnerability online, which can be a bid for attention rather than genuine emotional processing. Your challenge? Identify 1 or 2 trusted individuals, schedule a private conversation, and intentionally share a genuine feeling, a fear, or a struggle you are experiencing. Focus on the act of sharing and receiving support. The difficulty in these practices isn't a sign of failure, but a signal of growth. Every moment you resist the urge to perform, every time you choose introspection over external validation, you're strengthening your internal compass. The discomfort you feel is the friction of old habits breaking down, making way for the emergence of a more authentic, resilient self. Pain in this context isn't an enemy to be avoided. It's a guide, pointing you toward areas of true growth. We stand at a crossroads. Digital currents constantly pull us toward a performative existence, a life lived in the perpetual gaze of others. But within you lies the capacity for a different way of being, a way of connection rooted in authenticity, strength drawn from within, freedom found in the quiet spaces of your own mind. What hidden truths about yourself are waiting to be discovered when you finally turn off the screen and truly look inward?